So one of the members inside of the Apparel Success Mastermind asked a really good question that I had to bring to this YouTube channel. They asked, would you say these methods, ads plus influencers, is the way your brand grew? And would you say that's absolutely necessary in growing the brand? And we got into this discussion on whether or not you need paid ads in order to grow your brand and have a successful clothing brand. Or can you build a successful clothing brand these days, not running any paid ads and just doing a completely organic marketing strategy? The answer to this question is that you can get to the same goal in completely different ways. Like, let's say you want to get to the number 10. You can get there through 5 + 5 = 10. You can get there through 100 divided by 10. You can get there through 20 - 10. You can get there through 7 + 3. There's so many different ways to get to the same result. And so there isn't one specific way to build a successful clothing brand. Whether you're using paid ads or organic marketing, there's a deeper problem here, which is simply your ability to drive traffic to your website. And paid ads, organic marketing, all of these are just methods of driving traffic to your website. And we're gonna dive really deep into this. I really hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and if you struggle with designs, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on Design Crowd, sick designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've literally sold thousands of these designs on my website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. Okay, so I know for a fact, because I've worked with so many different clothing brands and I've dealt with this myself over many years, that the big issue with most clothing brands' marketing strategy is that they're simply not getting enough attention and they're not driving enough traffic to their website. And this is why most clothing brands usually resort to paid ads like TikTok ads or Facebook ads, is because their organic marketing strategy on regular old TikTok and on regular old Instagram Reels isn't getting enough eyeballs, their posts aren't getting out there enough, and they're not driving enough traffic to their website. And the symptom of this is just not enough sales on their website, their marketing strategy is coming up short, and they're not really getting the job done for their brand. The solution to this problem of not having enough traffic to your website doesn't automatically have to resort to paid ads. Like, just because you're not getting enough traffic to your website right now based on your current organic marketing strategy, it doesn't mean that if you maybe increased the amount that you're posting every single day and you held that down consistently, that maybe your traffic would change on your website. Or maybe you switch up the type of content that you're posting and it starts to perform a lot better and starts to drive a lot more traffic to your website. I know firsthand, and through working with several other brands, that it can be done to build a very, very successful clothing brand off of just purely your organic marketing strategy alone. If you look at Whole Strength on TikTok, this guy literally built to over $1 million in sales in his first 16 months simply just by using organic marketing, not investing a single dollar into paid ads. And that's because he locked into a content marketing strategy that worked for his brand. His content was getting out there, it was really clicking, and just through posting 3, 6, 10 times a day on TikTok, he was driving a crazy amount of traffic to his website that was enough to drive up to over $1 million in sales for his brand. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, there's not one right marketing strategy for your brand. There are many different ways that you can get to the same goal. The organic marketing strategy on TikTok and Instagram Reels is one way to do it. I know of other clothing brands that have built their brand entirely off of paid ads, and it's because the founder, the person running the brand, was a lot better with numbers, and they understood how to use calculated upfront costs running ads to bring back a disproportionate amount of sales based on the ads that they were running. And if that's the game that you want to play, if that's the way that your brain works and that's how you best operate as the founder of your clothing brand, then maybe that's the strategy for your brand, is to try and run ads and to try and get the numbers right. I know for me, I'm way worse with the numbers. I know that when I'm trying to crunch the numbers all the time and just look at the return on ad spend and make sure that it's in the green and constantly updating the creative so that it's all working, I know that that's a little bit like more confusing for my brain and how I work as a clothing brand operator. And so I'm much better off creating organic content, pumping out content, not really worrying about the numbers as much in terms of the paid ads, and just relying on that for my marketing strategy. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that I'm not also running ads. With my strategy, there's a bit of organic, there's a bit of paid ads, there's a bit of email marketing. And so I'm using those three things in combination to work really well and to drive sales for my brand in a profitable way. But I know that if I was just running paid ads for my clothing brand, not doing any organic, I would really struggle to remain profitable. And I know this because I've tried this, and I just found that it was so hard to remain profitable only running paid ads for my brand. I know for a fact that most new clothing brands have a completely unrealistic ideal conversion rate for their clothing brand's website in their head. And they just completely underestimate just how much traffic you need to drive to your website on a daily basis in order to get to like $60,000, $70,000 a month for your brand. You're never going to have a 100% conversion rate on your website, and you're not even going to come close to this. Like even a 10% conversion rate on your website would be absolutely ridiculous. The average conversion rate in the industry is between 2 to 5%, and that's a good conversion rate. So what does this mean? It means that if you drive 1,000 people to your website a day and you have a 2% conversion rate, you can get maybe 20 orders or 25 orders around there. So if you're looking to get 25 orders for your clothing brand a day, 20 orders for your clothing brand a day, and to really make this happen, then you're gonna have to get up to around 1,000 people a day in traffic with a 2% conversion rate. And it really does come down to the simple math here. If your conversion rate is good and it's around 2%, then all that you basically should be focusing on for your brand is how to increase the traffic. And I think that a lot of clothing brands don't really want to hear this because they want to hear that it's going to be kind of easy to drive a lot of traffic to their website and there's going to be some sort of way to do it without putting in a lot of effort. But if you want to do this through your content marketing strategy, you're likely going to have to up the volume of your posts like crazy. Like if you're posting once a day on TikTok and you expect to drive thousands of people to your site every single day regularly and consistently, it's just not going to happen. You have to up the volume of the amount of content that you're posting, and you have to increase the quality of that content if you're running an organic marketing strategy. Now, this next part is where we get into the really nuanced topics in all of this. And this is where I expect that if you come to this YouTube channel, you're able to think in terms of the gray areas and you don't just see the world in black and white. Because let's say you're driving 1,000 people a day to your website, but you have a very low conversion rate, like 0.2%. Well, then maybe the issue altogether wasn't the traffic that you were driving to your website, and it's your conversion rate. It's simply your brand isn't something that people want yet. You haven't built enough value into your brand. And this is why it's really important that at the same time that you're building up your clothing brand and you're building value into your brand through social proof, through making a better quality website, through increasing the credibility of your website, through better posts on social media, and all these things that we do to build up the value of our brand, at the same time we're driving enough traffic to our website through the posts that we're making on social media or whatever marketing strategies that you have, and we're assessing it through the conversion rate to see exactly how good our brand is performing. Another possibility here is that you could be driving 1,000 people to your website every day and you have a really low conversion rate, but actually your brand is pretty cool and you've got it staged really well, and you just drove the completely wrong 1,000 people to your website. Like if my clothing brand is all about Canada and I drive 1,000 people to my website today that are all from Europe, they'll never understand my brand and they'll never want to buy, so they'll have a low conversion rate. So you want to make sure that you have a high volume of traffic and a high quality of traffic, meaning your traffic is really aligned with your brand concept. And that's why when you create content on social media, you want all of your content to be aligned with your brand concept. This is why on TikTok for my own clothing brand, it's all funny rural Canadian content because my clothing brand represents rural Canada. So I know that all of the traffic that I'm driving to my website is perfectly aligned with my brand concept and they'll likely be interested. So to answer the original question, do I need to invest in paid advertising in order to have a successful clothing brand? The answer is no. But if you're running a purely organic marketing strategy, then you better be posting frequently enough to drive enough volume of traffic to your website to get the amount of sales that you're trying to get. And at the same time, the quality of the content matters as well, because if you're posting really, really frequently and it's really not high quality content and it's not getting in front of your audience and people aren't enjoying it, then you're never going to get those eyeballs to begin with as well. So it's volume and quality in order for you to drive that traffic to your website organically. And I can't really see any other way to go about it other than word of mouth and people just enjoying your brand, your first customers, and telling their friends about it. But you first have to get your brand out there and you have to get enough customers to really spark that word of mouth to begin with. And then it all comes down to your repeat customers, people actually enjoying the clothing that you've made, and that's how you build that brand up with an organic strategy. If you're thinking about starting up a clothing brand or you're already running one, you've got to check out the Apparel Success Mastermind. It's a monthly subscription where there's exclusive live streams every month. There's a community of other clothing brand owners in there. We all support each other and help each other. All of my courses are in there and you can cancel at any time. And you can learn more at apparelsuccessmastermind.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.